Hi guys, welcome to my channel English with Akanksha. So the purpose of this channel is, well, first is my love for literature, and the second one is to analyze and discuss literary text in a fun and interesting manner, and also dissect it very simply, which is easier to understand. Right, so a teensy bit about myself first. I have a master's in English literature and I cleared UGC NET twice. Then I went on to work with two colleges as an assistant professor. Right now, I'm focusing on research and starting this new venture. So today's text is Pride and Prejudice. Yes, it's Mr. Darcy entering, the hot, handsome literary hero. Oh, he has been my first literary crush too, so I don't blame you girls, swoon all you want. So let's start with a short summary. There is this Bennet family. Mrs. Bennet has 5 daughters and none of them are married. So, fun fact, they are not going to get their father's inheritance thanks to a quirky rule by which, it passes on to Mr. Collins, the next heir, the next male heir in the family. Well, of course, patriarchy. So Mrs. Bennet is really desperate. And when I say really desperate, I mean it. Really desperate to get her daughters married off, well, to richy rich, right? So comment in the section below if you have found, these, you remember these aunties telling you, always interested in matchmaking. So yeah, there you go, Mrs. Bennet for you. Talk about realism. Right. So now what happens is that I'll just use my beautiful tool. Anyway, so one day Mr. Bingley, this hot, handsome, rich bachelor, comes to live as a neighbor. And all the neighbors attend a ball at his place. So there, Jane Bennet, the eldest of the Bennet daughters, she gets, a little bit of starry-eyed with Bingley, the handsome, rich hero who has just arrived. Well, win-win for Mrs. Bennet, I guess. Then Elizabeth, the second daughter of the Bennet family, she also catches the fancy of Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy. Could you be more tempting? Anyway, so Mr. Darcy is obviously not at his very best at this ball. He is extremely handsome, very wealthy, Bingley's friend, but too proud, right? So the famous line, so when he insults Elizabeth, she hears him saying to Mr. Bingley that she is tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me. Really, Darcy? Really? You think you're polite? No, right? So, of course, Elizabeth will not feel good about it. Right. Moving on, things seem to be going very well with Jane and Bingley. A little affair going their way. Who are almost in love, by the way. When Darcy asks Bingley not to fall for Jane, her family is embarrassing. Well, I don't think I need to use air quotes because her family actually is embarrassing a little bit. So, but what do you think our heroine will think about this now? Proud Darcy meddling in affairs of her beloved sister. She's angry at him, and Jane is sad not to hear from Bingley. So they all send her off to a trip to a relative, change of scenery to make her feel better. Yeah, the usual stuff. Meanwhile, the militia arrives in the neighborhood, and the two youngest Bennet sisters can hardly stop staring at men in uniform. Yeah, we have all been there. It is during this time that Elizabeth meets Mr. Wickham, who tells his sob story about how Darcy ruined his life, which she believes happily, of course. So, hint, hint, the prejudice in the title begins from here at this point on in the story. When Elizabeth goes to visit Charlotte, her friend, they all visit the house of Darcy's aunt together. So during her stay at that, guess what happens? Well, Darcy comes in and proposes. But his proposal boils down to this: I love you, your family is embarrassing, and I try to talk myself out of these feelings that I am getting, but sadly they are too strong and they empower me. So yeah, I love you. Will you marry me? One sad moment for Mr. Darcy right here. So of course it's a no from Elizabeth. Wise choice, my girl. Well, for now. But the next day, he gives her a letter where he explains how Wickham is the bad guy and not him. Oh, our poor hero. Actually, that's true, you know. Wickham was the one who ran off, who tried to run off with Darcy's little sister. Evil guy. So, just when our heroine is gradually undergoing some change of emotions, of course, after getting the letter, now Bingley, Darcy is not the bad guy, he's actually the poor guy who suffered. She gets the horrible news that Lydia, her little stupid sister, has run off with Wickham and they are not married. Now imagine the scandal 200 years ago. Two people out of wedlock and they have run away. People still frown on Oyo dates. I mean, come on. So, of course, Elizabeth is a mess. And then our oh so charming Darcy swoops in. He finds them and gets them settled. What a guy. I mean, could this guy be more tempting? No wonder I drew a portrait of him. Anyway, so then it's happy ending when Bingley realizes that he actually loves Jane. Like, hello, wake up. Don't take Darcy's advice. Bromance. Stop with the bromance already. And okay, so Jane is married to him, and our intelligent protagonist, Elizabeth, gets married to Mr. Darcy. FYI, I have not delved into the subplots here, so please do read a summary online. Actually, do read the book, of course. What's wrong with you guys? Don't be so lazy. Read the book, right? Okay, so the major themes of this novel is one is of course marriage. See, women did not have all the choices that we have now to be financially independent, so marrying for social security is a major theme in the novel, and Austen deals with it brilliantly. Realism, so we get to see these realistic characters. I mean, come on, who does not want a Mr. Darcy as their boyfriend or husband, whatever? Yeah. And then we see Mrs. Bennet again, so relatable. So all the characters, the setting, the dialogue, all of them have a very, it's like holding a mirror up to life. We get to know how it was to live in that century. Then the third theme is women and conceptions of femininity. So women were supposed to behave in a certain way to be accepted. I mean, of course, marriage was their only way to social security. They had to get the perfect boy, the perfect guy, to get them married. And of course, he had to be somewhat rich. And these are high class women. They do not go for jobs. They are too high class for jobs. And they were not proper jobs also, especially, apart from that of governess or something like that. Very limited job options for women, right? So then again, these conceptions of femininity come in, right? So remember when Elizabeth shows up at the, in front of the Bingley party when her stockings are covered in dirt because she has been running around in the field. So the Bingley sisters cannot stop commenting upon that, talk about bitching, right? So this is the concept of femininity, but our heroine is very bold. She is not ashamed of what she has been doing. She loves physical exercise. One thing that Austen highlights throughout the novel is that Elizabeth loves to jump and to run in the open, right? And she's a nature lover. Okay, so Austen has given us a very bold heroine who is witty, strong, and has a lot of self-esteem. She ain't bowing down for money, my boy. No, not at all. Right. That's it, guys. Please do read the novel. This was just my fun take on it, as you can say. Right. So if you like this video, do leave a comment below, like, and subscribe to my channel. Happy reading. Bye-bye.